You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Okay, you should be hearing me now. Um, there is something in my software that is making it reset for some reason. I use OBS, for those of you that know, and some reason it's resetting off of my Go XLR. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, okay, so welcome everybody. Again, I don't want to delay anymore, but sometimes little quirky things happen. There's a lot going on. I I don't think you should. Anyway, I appreciate your patience with me, is what I'm saying. But I am trying to get the start time closer to 7:03 or 7:02. Um, I also wanted to to just keep throwing out there that every time I ask you guys for suggestions, even if it's just one or two for classes, they're usually pretty good. I still am trying to honor. I honored Danielle's chopstick request, but I couldn't get to the chakras yet, and that's mostly just because I need to do a smarter class. But I will be working on that. But if you have like any type of suggestion, they can be super weird or whatever. Of course, I can't promise that I'll do it, but I will really try. And I hope you guys are sensing that I generally like take requests from you guys. Like I'm trying to hit the request. And so if you have any for classes, types of classes, paces of classes, a technique, anything, I appreciate it. I feel like I've got loads of ideas coming, so I'm not putting a burden off on you, but just, I love to keep it relevant to everything. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that next Thursday, a week from today, will represent one whole year of doing these classes. It'll be, I felt like it was probably getting close, and I looked it up, and I think it was March 28th. Wait, no. It was, yeah, 26, whatever next Thursday is. I looked it up. It just so happens that it falls on that date. So I'm really excited. And I don't know what we'll be doing, but I just can't believe it's been a year already with you guys. And some of you, a lot of you are showing up 3 times a week, and I feel like community with you, and I can't believe it's been going on for a year. And I'm really happy that the Zoom wall is up now on the jams, and so we can see everybody. And so just, I guess, just congratulations and thank you. Like, I don't like to comment about the donations because I'm Southern and awkward about money, but they are sustaining this, and your participation is. And I know we're not on different kind of income levels, and so just participation is a currency that I value, and so that's good. So people showing up, and then also people making donations who can, are what's keeping this going. I mean, plus the love of hooping and the love of this and all those things, but it is sustaining this project. Everything, sometimes requires a little sustenance. So I really appreciate that, and happy birthday to you guys, or anniversary, I guess. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was this idea of, gosh, I wonder if might not be able to bring this in right now. Soy sauce, you have a great handle. Sweet. Actually, let me. I'm gonna kind of do something. Hopefully, this won't take too long. I want to do something while I'm on air here, because I forgot to. Well, maybe it didn't load. Okay, well, shucks. I thought I just downloaded it. Okay, never mind. Okay, I guess it's not here. That's interesting. Okay, so anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about the spiral and using a new way. It's not the best way, because there is no best way. There might be a best way for you, and there might be a best way for me, but this is a type of motion of spirals, and it very much kind of, we might be getting a tornado here any second now. We're on severe weather warning. And so if you think about a tornado, actually it's more like a hurricane. If you can imagine a hurricane, the way a hurricane kind of spirals outward, it sort of whips with these spirals that spiral outward, this vortex. And it's not like the hoop trick vortex, but similar. But a vortex, like a circle with pushing, and just sort of whips the shore. You're welcome, Sarah. You've been a big part. And thanks, K-Swift, for all this Zoom help. And so that's the motion that we're working on tonight, and we're going to try it in a couple of different areas. Some of you might have this motion down, and this will be a class that'll just be easy or kind of too elementary for you. Some of you, it might help you. A lot of times this is a very different way to move than what we did on the skills test class, which I thought we were going to do tonight, but I want to do this class. It's a little bit more gentle. All right, so I don't want to talk too much because I'm going to set it up during most of the class. So if you're new to this, I start off every class with something called sway. Sway is free-form movement. You can stretch, you can do whatever. One of the reasons that I have a camera on Tara is so that you can also see another interpretation. You're always allowed to bounce off of the class or to do whatever you need to do. So you're not bound to stick with me. Of course, I wouldn't know anyway. But remember, this is your time. Hooping is for you. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into sway. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, one second, guys. Hope you can hear me. I like to do this blindfolded, but you can do it any way you like. If my mic is too loud or too soft, let me know. Audible breath in. Tonight we're going to talk about spirals and in the way of a vortex. That there is an energy that is pushing away from a center as it rolls around that center. If you've ever seen leaves picked up by the wind and swirled around each other, audible breath in. There's another way we can think of our push tonight. You can imagine that you're in water. Maybe the water comes all the way up to your shoulders, and as you move your hands underneath the surface of the water, you can see ripples created. You can feel them. Tonight we're visualizing and performing a type of movement that creates ripples, and that those ripples move around the whole of you. Audible breath in. Breathe into that tight body of yours. Breathe into that tight mind of yours. Relax with us. Tell your brain that you're safe, that it doesn't need to stress. That you're okay. That there is no danger. Audible breath. brain for the next 30 minutes that there's no threat. So that your tight muscles can take all of that air in patiently, deeply, completely. Audible breath in. Okay. All right. So we're going to do one more movement without the hoop exercise. Super quick. I won't keep this going for too long. But there's some motions that I want to work on. Oops. There's some motions that I want to work on before we actually get into our hoops. And as I mentioned, it'll only take a second. Okay. All right. So before we get into our hoops, what we're going to try to do is create some circles with our motion. Now, if you're new to HoopPath, I'm actually not, oh, that's weird. I'm actually not a dictator. And so basically, I'm always just gently suggesting a type of motion. The truth is that a lot of people that take the HoopPath already, or take my classes, they're already movers. They already feel comfortable in their bodies, and so you get the point. I'm giving you suggestions, but right now I'm working on circles. And I'm letting the drawing of those circles, kind of do what it wants to. I'm not moving through a checklist. But what's helping me sort of come up with their movement or allow their movement is to feel their movement all the way back to my shoulders, my chest, my legs, my sense of balance. So however I am moving my arms in whatever circle that is, I'm trying to bring my focus and awareness to feeling those ripples through the body. My legs are not very flexible at all, but I have enjoyed working on my balance, although it's not that great, and drawing circles, while balanced on one leg, drawing circles with the other, of course reversing. If you're over 40, it's a good time to start thinking about that core strength. Thinking about the body's ability to balance, hold its weight with one leg. Truthfully, it's that time for all of us. And then I can also practice with big swooshy circles. For instance, if I tie my foot to my hands, maybe I swirl out this way. Extended leg, oops, it's kind of hard to do in slides here. Either with an extended leg, what you can imagine is you make these swirls. You're that peaceful hurricane. You're rolling so that those ripples are moving away from you, kissing the shore, so to speak. The last one that I want to do with you, if you're still with me, you're being super patient, but I want to show you some things. The last one I want to show you might be a little bit tricky to see it. Actually, you may need the bird's eye for this one. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to make sense. We'll see what I can do here. But what you're going to try to do, it's kind of a belly dance type motion, but you're going to try to imagine that you have a center line rolling straight down through you, and then you're going to move your chest off and around that center line. Now, there's other different ways to say this, but just imagine like rolling the rib cage, and imagining that you could, in theory, be rolling around a pole or something. If that doesn't help, I'll show you the other one here. Weird, but one way that this spiral, I don't want to skip ahead in class, but this spiraling out at the shoulder, at the chest level, can really help with your chest hooping, which we're going to get into in about 3 minutes or 4 minutes. And it can also help with your slow shoulders and with your stalls, or like your penny folds on shoulders, because I'm moving with it, and then I'm allowing that roll. Okay, you guys are doing great. All right, I'm hoping that my music info will stay accurate through tonight. I'm going to be bouncing between SoundCloud. All right, so we're going to give you a quick example, fun example, a way to warm up. Bones cracking, sweet. Okay, so we're going to try, show you, I'm going to give you a little demo of this, or not demo, I want you to try this with me. I'm rolling, right, the hoop over around my arm. I'm using the HoopPath technique of doing it on the forearm, or I'm not branding things, but just a lot of times we do vertical rolling in class. People will do it on the forearm, right? Actually, Tara's the one that tuned me into the idea that this was a great fascia massage and relaxer. Of course, I've been sharing that for over a year and a half now, but it sort of is. And then I can switch hands to the other one whenever I get intense. If you're a total beginner, it's really easy. You just push your hand in and pull the other one out. Especially if you have a hoop my size, it's pretty easy to do. Of course, it gets a little, trippy or clunky sometimes in the beginning. But I want you to feel this, because I am rolling the hoop. And before we get into core hooping, which is where we really use this technique, what I want you to do is imagine again now that you're that hurricane, you're that vortex. I wish I had the image, but I think you guys got it. Imagine like a ninja star, blurry ninja star. Imagine that vortex as it's rolling over your hand, arm, wherever it is. And what I want you to start doing is imagining like I'm pushing from maybe these unpredictable places, right? And this is how you can start to feel the spiral effect. Because like this is just me pushing straight up and down. I wish I had my arrows. I'm not saying that's bad, that's a cool look. But if I start to think about spiral motion, that means that at some point in some rotation, I'm going to be pushing this way, I'm going to be pushing that way, I might be pushing this way, or whatever, okay? Now, there's a couple things you can do to help get the spiral motion moving through the arms. Just switch hands whenever you're tired, right? And some of those ways are to keep the legs bent and then allow a little bit of travel with the arm. Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit of travel with the arm. And then with this technique, you can get the hoop spinning pretty fast, right? You start focusing on a sort of uniform pressure of contact as the hoop is rolling around you, and you can get it going pretty fast. Then I can slow that down, and then we'll go back the other way, right? just to make sure we're working both currents. And usually it's in your second current of vertical rolling that you realize sometimes you feel this technique more. Like for me, for whatever reason, I'm on my right arm in my second current rolling, and the push kind of going up this way from my thumb isn't really there, and it's causing my hoop to sort of wonk on me, right? The hoop started getting a little close to me, right? So but I can fix that with this spiral type motion, okay? And again, you could be anywhere. This spiral motion will help you when you're trying to do this, I forget what you call this one, but this spiral motion to help you instead of just going up and down, and again, you're sort of, think like a hurricane. You're sort of pushing like one tail of wind, whipping after another one. Okay, let's see here. I just want to put some music on for us to play with some of this. If you're new to my classes, I try to keep them, even on the tech classes like tonight, I try to keep them as flowy as possible. And since this is really a concept class, I want to give you the song for almost every exercise. But things will get going. So what I ask you to do, is to have fun and play with just something, whatever it is. It can be just a nice, easy, isolations are a perfect time to think about the spiral. Because most of the time the isolation dropping, which is what mine is doing, is because there's not a uniform pressure, right? And so sometimes if you think like, every point in the rotation here, at every point, I need to be holding the weight of this hoop to make it really zing. Right? So I'm feeling it on the back of my hands when it's on the northern arc. I'm feeling it, of course I'm gripping a little bit. And there's also to help create that effect, there's also this sort of in between the fingers roll. But regardless of that, right, I can feel. If you've ever struggled with anti-spin, moving the hoop, your hand in the opposite direction the hoop is rolling, this technique will work as well, right? You'll wind up drawing more angular shapes than these vortex-y looking shapes, but by feeling into the spiral technique is really meant to help you think about push from different parts of the arm through in a ripple way, right? Through. Work yourself into kind of a gripless isolation, which isn't necessarily quite as clean, but it can be really fun. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but no grip. I've just got what we call mountain hand in there, right? But then I'm gonna start to draw bigger and bigger spirals. My push are going, curving through the hoop. Again, these aren't maybe as clean as grip ones would be for most people. But where this spiral motion really helps in this type of movement is you lose some of that drop because you're thinking outward, right? You can push out, not just up, but out. Yes is the answer to the Sufi question for sure. Okay, I think you guys get an idea about that one. So we're gonna jump onto the waist now. So you can go ahead, we're going to do some core hoop. And this is really where I think in core hooping it helps even more, the spiraling technique. So to be clear here, you're imagining, like there's a story in the My Dance story about this big, big young woman named Anea, who is like mythically large. And she's in a lake, and the My Dan are teaching her to be in touch with her body. And so she's in this cool but calm, nice, chilly enough just to be refreshing lake. And Ana, her teacher, asked her to wrap the water around her. Okay? And so she would wrap the water around her. And of course, if you know how physics works, it's going to come towards her, but then fan out. And so Anea starts to send waves from like a whirlpool as she rolls around. Okay? Now, this is a motion that some people start with as their beginner rhythm. It's kind of the belly dance type rhythm. Okay? But some people start with more of a rock steppy type motion. Okay? And so adding this round spiral from the inside out motion can help you flatten your hoop. I mean, I'm not bragging, but the plane of my hoop's pretty flat. Flat being like consistent, not necessarily perfectly flat, right? And so that roundness, me rolling this way, is contributing to that, right? Because the hoop is getting equal push going all the way through the body. All right, let's put some music on. I'll shut up and let you. What just happened? I don't know what just happened there. Huh. Let me try. All right, sorry, y'all. Let me try something else. Huh. I don't know what happened. Okay, 1 second. Something just kind of died on my. Let's see. Okay, give me 1 second here. That's weird. Yeah. Okay, I don't really know what is going on. Huh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry about this. Okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what is going on. For some reason, the software just crashed. But let's try this one. Okay, so this isn't a song I was going to play. For some reason, my iTunes crashed, but this one seems to be working. So let's see what we can get by with here. Sorry for this. Okay, so we're going to go back onto the waist. All right, we're going to go back onto the waist, and we're going to imagine rolling circles to get this nice flat. There we go. Now, what I want you to try with me is rolling, as we were doing before, is rolling around that center line, okay? So what we're going to try to do, it's really hard to do, but you're going to sort of push forward and then push to the side, kind of like forward and then to one side, then back, then over here, and then over here. And you're going to try to draw I didn't say it looked cool, but it works. You would probably never do this in front of people, but it can help you develop like nice, like sort of stabilizing muscles and rotation down there. Okay. Now that's the extreme example, but I can tighten that sense of roll, right? And I can just kind of roll through my body. See how I'm not exaggerating it quite so much, but I'm yeah, there you go. See my, oops, of course it switched off. I'm rolling through. Inside, sometimes I use this example. Imagine like a car wash, right? Like with those like automatic things that flap the hell out of your car. Back when they had those things. Those brushes, those turning brushes, those miniature hurricanes, they're rolling around the hollowed out inside of you right now, okay? And usually, the sort of more grip you put on your feet, like the sort of firmer they feel, the more you can sort of grip that rotation. I don't know if that made any sense, but if you're trying to learn second current going the other way, this technique can be really, really helpful. So what I'm doing is I'm imagining that inside of me, instead of some of the other techniques we've done before, there's this whirling thing that is pushing energy out. Okay? Now we're going to do something kind of hard. We're going to try to chi the hoop using the spiral, okay? So what this means, we're going to try to bring the hoop up without touching it, but this time we're going to use our spiraling technique. So if it gets stuck anywhere on the body, we're going to spiral underneath it, right? Nice! Nice, Tara just showing off. So we're going to use the spiral technique. And remember, I'm going to go big, right, like we were doing before, to get lots of gas on the hoop so I can make it all the way up the mountain. Boom. Nice. Let me check this note, make sure. Oh, you're welcome. Sweet. I'm glad you did it. Okay, so we're here. Chiing the hoop, bringing the hoop up without touching is incredibly difficult to do. So give yourself a break if you can't do it. But you whip, right? I'm going big with my circle underneath the hoop. A big circle that slowly tightens and speeds as it comes up. It goes back down. Now we're all shaped. We're all shaped a little differently, right? And so if for whatever reason it's uncomfortable to perfectly, or to bring the chi up, to avoid certain areas, you can turn as you're chiing the hoop up. So I'm coming here, and as I turn, I can kind of dip underneath the hoop, or underneath the path. Now, what I want you to do, and we'll do it for a couple more minutes, or a minute and a half or so, is I want you to chest hoop for me, however you can. If you can't chi the hoop up, don't worry about that. But I want you to chest hoop, because chest hooping is where this spiral motion of core hooping really, really will help you out. So when I'm up here, right, instead of a rock steppy back and forth, it's kind of unstable, I'm going to be thinking about more like the sides, like this portion here, and getting underneath the hoop and using that swirling, spiraling motion to stay underneath the hoop. I don't want to get on top of the hoop. I want to stay slightly underneath it, right? And then if you know how to, you can like pinch. A pinch reverse is a great way to try the current. If you don't know how to do that, just stop it and go back the other way. And now what you're going to be feeling that I really love about this, and don't hurt yourself, but you can feel strengthening coming up all the way through the abs and the core. So I got my hands up like an idiot, but you could be anywhere. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to relax. I want to do just some free flow with core hooping. You can bring it up to the chest if you want, but I won't make you keep it there. And then I'll point out some things. You might not realize it, but just practicing, do whatever you want to. If you care, you can listen. But angle hooping, it really, really helps if I use this spiral full circle, like a sun and all of its rays pushing out, right? As I lean back, I can bounce to get it up there, but then to keep it in front of me, I'm really going to have to figure out a way to create a nice round push so that it doesn't walk on me. Round meaning push is coming out pretty much every angle at some point. And now I'll show you one more thing. Good, we're doing good on time because we're going to come off the core after this. But I'll show you one more thing. And for some people, chest hooping is easier than the shoulders. For some people, it's harder. So if you're one of the easier people, we can actually sometimes chi the hoop from earth to sky easier than you might realize, okay? So I'm here, and I'm gonna lean back, I'm pushing up from these corners, but then once the hoop is in an angle, I'm gonna start to roll it, right? Now, if I don't put any upward push, and I just keep this, vortex spiral push out, the hoop is gonna flatten, and then if I add just a little bit bounce, it's gonna move into earth angle, right? And so I can repeat that, I can bring it back up, chi it back up, by moving my chest back into a flat spiral, right? Like a record player type motion. And then leaning back, a little bit of bounce just to tilt the hoop, and then I'm back in that round roll. All right, I'll let you play with that. Nice, Tara's doing great. You're doing great too. Okay, let's do our last one here. And yeah, the song worked. These were not the songs I was planning on playing for these exercises, but sometimes you gotta roll with it. Okay, so because I want to do one more thing that's kind of challenging, but then end with maybe some fun stuff. And since we're in our last 15 minutes here, we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, you're welcome. Sweet. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I know that usually when I start talking about head hooping, everybody gets pissed off. If you have a hat or a bandana, Terry, if you want to use this pink one, it might, it's folded pretty good. And you don't have to. Any hat works amazing. If you have, like a beanie, in the South we call them toboggans. If you have something like that, if you have a hoodie, anything. And if you don't have anything, don't worry about it. This is just one exercise. But head hooping is really hard to get. And one of the reasons that it's hard to get is that learning the head hooping with the rock step, this back and forth, which is actually how I learned to hoop myself. That's how I taught myself to hoop, was the back and forth. And I had to learn this motion. But for head hooping, the back and forth is really hard. And the swirling really helps. That swirl, spiraling out motion really helps. And so what you want to do is you want to slowly sort of teach your head how to feel the contact of the hoop, okay? And so you can do that, and if you get dizzy, it can sort of suck. But what you want to do is we're going to start off. I've got the hoop pinned to the back of my head here, right? And I'm just going to start turning, right? And then I'm going to stop. And when I stop, the hoop is going to want to roll around. Now, I'm going to use my spiral technique to get up under the hoop as it makes its way around. Because unlike any other body part, I can't really push from just one side of my body. I have to kind of get under it the whole time. So I'll show you what this is going to look like, and there's another approach we're going to try, and then we'll do something fun. So I'm just going to let go. I'm turning. It's already on the back of my head. I'm just turning. Now, I'm not going to go too fast, and I'm going to stop and let it roll around my head. And then to be able to pull that off, right, I'm going to have to move that spiral of my head around. Now, one thing I want to tell you about learning to head hoop is that when you're learning to head hoop, you're also learning to forehead hoop and to eye socket hoop and across your nose hoop and across your face. You basically learn how to hoop on the entire head in order to just get it to where it stays above your eyes most of the time. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but my head is not rigid and I'm not bouncing back and forth. I'm allowing my head to spiral. I'm allowing it to almost create like a reverse cone, like the tip of the cone here and going out, drawing that. And then the other thing that really helps, so if you really struggle to keep it going and you don't get too dizzy, you can just do big burst, right? Like I do one big burst, I let it roll, and I do one more big burst, let it roll, one more big burst, whatever, okay? And then if you're really having trouble with this, or even if you're not, you can also start it off on the forehead. It's a little bit trickier though, but I can hold it on my forehead, start to spin, and then just let my head sort of dip, and it will roll around. So just to be clear, I'm holding it on my forehead, right? Just letting it hang there. And I'm gonna start spinning. It's gonna catch a little bit of flight. Doesn't need to get too much. And then I'm gonna drop my head, kind of like ear to shoulder kind of drop, and get it to roll around that surface. All right, we're going to do 2 minutes of practicing this. Probably everybody's already gotten offline. We do 2 minutes of practicing this. Did I play this already? Yeah, I think I did. I think it's this one. Yeah, grip tape definitely helps. That's for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, grip tape on your hoop. I have... Mine is a Warrior that comes sanded, and I never re-sand mine. I can't believe that it stays grippy enough for me every time. Okay. So essentially, what's most important is to teach yourself a section at a time, perhaps, what the hoop feels like when it rolls across it, right? Now, if you're trying to do this on long, slick hair, it's really hard. Just trust me, it is really, really hard. But one thing you can do, if you just can't get it to rotate the whole way around, just try some stalls, you know? Nothing too complicated here. I'm just turning. The hoop is actually just staying in the same spot, but I'm head hooping here. Just stalling, stalling, stalling. The more I spin around my center, usually the less sort of wonky and dizzy I get. Sweet, I'm glad. Sweet, Claire. Just catching up on the comments, guys. So we'll just let the song's not over, but it's going to keep going after this break. So we'll just move into a free hoop now. You can fire some questions around. Spiral Power, that's right. You can hit me with some questions if you have them. But otherwise, just enjoy the free hoop. We are going to have a jam on Sunday, 4 o'clock. We're doing the Zoom wall as usual. And yeah, thank you guys so much for the year. Yeah, right. Sweet, Faye. Thank you so much, Faye, for joining us tonight. You're the one that wrote Spiral Power. Yeah, hey, what's up, girl? That's awesome. One thing I'll just throw this in. Ah, sweet. All right, so one thing I'll throw in here really fast for you guys, since we're having fun with this, is slow shoulders and the spiral method are really good. If you imagine your arms are part of this spiral that are going out under, that movement off the center line thing that we were doing up at the shoulders, that really helps too. Sweet, Viv, thank you for joining me. Okay, yeah, we're gonna move into, got some funky stuff here tonight. I don't think it's a playlist I was gonna put together for a totally different type of class, but hopefully it'll work.
The unwilling ones are easy. I have power over them.
As always, guys, thank you for saying this. Viv, I don't know if you're still here, but next Thursday it marks a year of these. Oh, sweet, Judy. Sweet. Welcome to the class that comes to you. You can call this HoopPath living room. Or kitchen, or yard, or place between the bed and the wall. As always, guys, thank you. Every Sunday, 4 o'clock. We even have a wall of Zoom. If you want to actually get on and be a part, you can join the wall of Zoom that we have going on.
Now I got you rolling, put you in a spell. Your faith in me was blind, that's why I want you still. You burning every bridge you cross by, you can't help but rebel. I'ma go and pop my...
Oh, man. I hate it when it does that.
My collar, make me spend all my guala. burning up the spot like lava. Baby, too sweet like guava. Yeah, we keep it on the low. Yeah, ready, get in, let's go. Yeah, I think I'll make you glow. Yeah, like Studio 54. If I told you
Dude, I
how
really
it was,
appreciate
then
your
you
help
would never
also. Thank
believe me. Slime, yeah, they stab
I
you
appreciate
in the
everyone
back
being
'cause they
here. Thank you guys
sleazy.
so much.
I can never
Can't believe
stop,
it's
I
been a year.
cannot take it easy. You know I want it all, but I'm not getting greedy. I'm ballin' in New York like a Yankee, CC. Energy is fake, I don't shake when they greet me. I don't need a break, I do not get sleepy. I can never stop, I am way too beastie. Better turn your TV on. Now I have to leave, I'm gone. You call me when they play my songs. I'ma go and pop my collar. Make me spend all my guala. Burning up the spot like lava. Baby, too sweet like guava. Yeah, we keep it on the low. Yeah, ready, get in, let's go. Yeah, I think I'll make you glow. Yeah, like Studio 54. Yeah, loyalty, trust, that's all I ask for. I should never even have to ask for it. Don't you know the word is in your hands, hun? Maybe you should go and get a passport. You've been working all year. Summer, it just seemed too far. Come with me to space for the day. Maybe we could sleep by the stars. Every time I go away. I know you hate it when we apart. We never care what they say. Let's take it back to the start. Read between the lines, underneath the veil. Now I got you rolling, put you in a spell. Your faith in me was blind, that's why I want you still. You burning every bridge you cross by, you can't help but rebel. I'ma go and pop my collar, make me spend all my guala. Burning up the spot like lava, baby too sweet like guava. Yeah, we keep it on the low. Yeah, ready, get in, let's go. Yeah, I think I'll make you glow. Yeah, like Studio 54. I'ma go and pop my collar, make me spend all my guala. Burning up the spot like lava, baby too sweet like guava. Yeah, we keep it on the low. Yeah, ready, get in, let's go. Yeah, I think I'll make you glow. Yeah, like Studio 54. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I don't know if you can tell, Viv, but I painted this room. It's a different color now. Looks a little weird on camera, but it's actually a pretty cool color. Okay, guys, so this will be, I just want to do 2 more songs.
Friendship about the whole crew. I'ma do my thing like I'm supposed to. Think that I'm a player, let me coach you. Freshest in the room, girl, that's old news. X with some Henny, that's a bold move. Swerving, women get the trippin' when I curve them. Ballin', feeling like Magic, Irvin. Real athlete, always catch me in a jersey. Said she fuck with me cause a nigga ain't thirsty. I might pull up on you in a 06 drop top, pimp shit. Curly headed nigga make your heart stop, cocky. Got my own style, so they jock me. I love bad women, that's my problem. Rocky, A$AP. If it make money, I'ma chase that. My foot is on gas, no brake pad. Shorty stuck to me like a face tat. Always tryna face check. Top spot open, but I take back. You might just be my new fling. Late night, low key with new things. I might wanna cuff for the day. If you with the games, I ain't really tryna play. Baby, you might just be my new fling. Late night, low key with new things. You call, tryna give me where you lay. I'm sorry, baby girl, I ain't really planning to stay. No strings, no strings, no strings. You with the games, I ain't really tryna play, baby. No strings, no strings, no strings. You with the games, I ain't really tryna play, baby. No strings. with it. Got too many women tryna climb in it. I ain't really for the ones at all who acting iffy. I still got the same niggas that fall to rise with me. I'm a nuisance. Yeah, keep the cool lit. Shorty break a neck cause I put up in a new fit. I be in the bay with them niggas go stupid. I can probably take you higher than a 4-story roof. Cause all I ever wanted was the ball. I'ma pull up on you every single time you call. Tell my little baby she can really get it all. They gon' wanna play this shit all spring, summer, fall. God, you might just be my new flag. Late night, low key we do things. You call, tryna get me where you lay. I'm sorry, baby girl, I ain't really plan to stay. No strings, no strings, no strings. You with the games, I ain't really tryna play, baby. No strings, no strings, no strings. You with the games, I ain't really tryna play, baby. No strings.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. We're going to do one last song here, a little bit slower one if I pick the right one. Really appreciate your help. Yeah, sweet. Nice. Nice, Jennifer. Jennifer, I feel like you've been to every one of these. I think Jackie, I think almost all of you have. It's funny. It's so great. Claire is always here, and it's really been nice. Carlo, Jackie, everybody. Of course, K Swift. By the way, these songs are on SoundCloud. I'll go ahead and make the list public for you. You guys are awesome. Feels so good to hear. Thank you, Claire. Oh, there she is. Hey, Sharon. Thank you. It took me a while to get it, but here is the link to most of the songs that we played because my iTunes crashed. Soy sauce and seasoned salt, you are very welcome, and you have the best handle ever. Yeah, go get that dinner. You're welcome, Casey. You're very welcome, Jackie, and I always appreciate your audio help and tech help.